So, I feel like I've been to enough entrepreneurial events that I could make a sick bingo card of just everything that I am probably going to hear about during the event. One of those things that I hear over and over and over again is that they always say that the key to good entrepreneurship is storytelling. You know, the key to good marketing, the key to getting investors, to pretty much all startup success is your ability to do storytelling. Great. And then what happens is that people just leave it there. They never talk about what makes a good story. They never talk about how to do storytelling for entrepreneurship. And so you sort of sit there wondering like, oh, great, I have the key and no way to know how to use it. But worry not. I am here to help you figure out how to best tell your entrepreneurship story. By the way, if you don't know me, hi, I'm Eliza. I'm doing my own startup and talking about the experience as I go through it. Please consider subscribing for all things tech entrepreneurship. Okay, so back to storytelling. A disclaimer here, I'm not talking about storytelling in any other context, anything else, like a good movie or whatever, has its own way of telling stories. I'm very specifically talking about how to tell a story in the context of pitching your company or product. So everyone knows that a story tends to have a beginning, middle, end, characters, plot, what have you. But actually, I think that for any really good entrepreneurship story, where you actually need to first start is an emotional truth. So there needs to be something that your company does that resonates with people on an inner level. And I know so many people who say, oh, that doesn't apply to me because I have a very technical company, I have a business to business SaaS company. It doesn't matter. There's still something in there that's an emotional truth. Even if your company, like let's say your company is just like an online HR service, there's no emotional resonance in there, but there is. You're making the experience of onboarding a new person to your company more seamless so that you can feel like you've hired the right person and they can feel like they can hit the ground running. That's actually an emotional feeling, and that goes a bit more beyond just the facts of like, oh, we can onboard 2 times faster. Yes, that's true, but why does it matter that you can onboard faster? What does it actually do? Like, what does your product do that makes their life better? And usually it has a bit more to do with a feeling than just the facts themselves. The facts themselves are fine, but it suggests, like the facts themselves suggest some kind of inner truth in there, whether executive wants to be more efficient, whether they want to feel successful in their jobs. There's something in there that you can do as a company and as a product that will make someone feel that way. So that's the first thing you need. You need that kind of emotional core that everything builds around. The next thing that I think you really need to do is describe the problem in detail. Like, what is the current state of the world and why is that unacceptable to the point where you need to start a whole new company that fixes it? So try to make this problem seem as obvious and as high stakes as possible, which it might be, but that's kind of the goal. It needs to be, oh yeah, of course this is a problem, and of course this is really bad enough that we need to change somehow. Now you could skip straight to the solution, which is the next thing. I would argue that there might be a reason why you'd want to have something else in there, which basically says, why do none of the other current solutions out there work right now? This can be really effective if there's like big known players in the game. You can say like, this problem exists. Company A is so good at solving it at the moment, but it's not really good given XYZ reasons. It's not solving the issue as well as it could be. So you've got the problem, you've got why other solutions don't work. Finally, you get to talk about your solution and why your solution is more effective than anything else out there, whether it's cheaper, whether it's better for the end user, what have you. Now, if you're giving a really short presentation, I do think that those three are kind of the key. Like if you have 30 seconds, try to get through those three as quickly as possible. Again, within those three, you're trying to communicate your emotional truth of why you exist and why you are here. Is it to make people feel hopeful? Is it to make people feel fearful? Do you want people to feel efficient? Do you want people to feel good at their jobs or better at their lives or more healthy or fit? Whatever it is, you need to have that in mind through all of the other steps of the process. So some other things in your story, if you have a bit more time, if you have, say, a presentation that's going on for several minutes, some other things that you might want to consider is your growth story. So you might want to talk about how much you've grown in the past few years. Another thing you might want to talk about is your total addressable market. Now, this one's a little bit tricky, and I think I'll do a separate video on that. But the idea being that you want to communicate that your opportunity is big. Either you have many, many, many people who have this problem that you can solve, or not so many people have it, but it's a big enough problem for them that they are going to spend a lot of money to try and fix it if your product does what it says it does. You might also want to talk about the team, like why are you specifically the person to solve this problem? Is it from your background experience? Is it because you suffer from this problem or have in the past? Really describe why you yourself are the right person to solve this problem. Show that you are very passionate about this. You might also want to talk about other higher up members of your team who are also passionate about this problem and what expertise they bring to it. It's always good to talk about the things that you've accomplished recently, but actually I think that no matter what, you should always end every presentation, every story of yours with an ask. And actually that's regardless of how long your story is. Even if you only have 30 seconds, I still recommend having an ask at the end. And it does not have to be asking for money. In fact, if it's the first time meeting someone, try to avoid asking them money first time round if you can. There's a lot of things you can ask for though. You can ask people to sign up for your email list. You can ask if anyone knows someone good in marketing that you could use, or PR, something like that, that you can get a connection or referral to. Funnily enough, like if people hear a really good story, if people hear a compelling problem and an exciting sounding solution, a lot of times people want to get on that train, be part of this solution, this story that's going off. With that in mind, something else you might want to talk about are future plans. Like in the next year, we plan to do X, Y, and Z to really grow ourselves to be a household name, a billion-dollar company, what have you. Really showing that you have some kind of direction is going to make for a very compelling story for most investors, customers, partners, whoever it is that you are telling your startup story to. Okay, so that's it. I'll put a couple of links down below to some kind of presentation templates that kind of summarize roughly content-wise what you should include in your typical pitch or story. It doesn't have to be in a presentation, you can just talk about it, but those are the elements that you should have in mind. And again, I can't stress this enough, like investors, people in general, they hear so many, like hundreds of these stories over and over and over again. I honestly think that the only way that you're going to stand out from the pack and really make someone listen to you and what your company does in your story is to reach into that emotional, deep level of why what you are saying matters, I think it's really the only way to break through. So I deeply encourage, no matter what kind of startup, it could be cryptocurrency for all I care, there should be an emotional truth to whatever story, and everything can be built off of that. That's my time for today. If you have any comments, comment down below, like and subscribe to my channel, please. I'll talk to you later. All right, bye.